Hey guys, what if the in between season was the most sacred of them all? In this raw and powerful conversation, Amanda Humberson joins the podcast today to talk about surrender, stillness, and shedding that performance based identity that a lot of us carry. This episode is for anyone navigating the unknown and learning how to trust what's next and learning how to trust themselves. Today, I have got one of the most authentic human beings I've ever met on, Amanda Humberson. Her podcast, I'm not finished, it's just this beautiful reflection of the way that she uses her voice to inspire others to live boldly and to love well. So my friend, thank you so much for being
Thank
here
you.
today.
Thanks for having me on, Brittany. Such an honor.
It's going to be so
But
fun.
no,
So, okay.
for most authentic. Okay, I can't lie.
I know, like you've got some high expectations to live up to, all right?
Okay, fine.
Okay, so you're going to show up today. I know it. I just know it. So before we jump into like the normal part of the show where we kind of talk about one area that we're like struggling through right now, we're unjuggling, and then we'll transition into an area that, hey, like you feel like you've kind of unjuggled this piece and some tips that you would maybe offer to someone who's listening, who's going through it right now. Before we jump into that, who are we talking to today? Like, tell me a little bit about your story.
Okay, so my name's Amanda Humberson. I am currently a stay-at-home mom who is working very part-time for a stager here in Denver. And I also, like you said, host my own podcast, I'm Not Finished. And I am a wife to a first responder. We both are, right? He is a firefighter paramedic in Westminster, Colorado. And I am, I think that's who I am right now. I write poetry. I am learning more about myself. I am on a healing journey. And so, that's me in a nutshell right now.
That's you in a nutshell right now. I love the right now.
Yes.
I feel like it gives us, like, when we're willing to show up into different spaces, sometimes even with like different hats, it gives us like this permission to just continue to grow and evolve. And I can very much like feel that with you.
Yeah. And it's, what's funny is when you ask who's showing up, I tend to list the titles because I think it's even getting harder for me to define like the attributes and the personality traits, because I do feel like I'm in a season of transition.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. And I think that the titles are really normal too, because like that's how in our human brains, right? That's how we honestly categorize one another. Right. So to some degree, that's also kind of how we categorize ourselves.
It is. It's like an oversimplification. Like whenever I state that, there's so much beneath being a first responder wife, or there's so much to being a mom. What kind of mom am I? And but I think that's enough, right, to get started.
Yeah. I think that's good. I also too, like, I want to call out, because something that stood out for is like a stay-at-home mom. Did you ever think you would be a stay-at-home mom?
No. I actually never even thought I'd be a mom. So
I'm same.
Right. And so I think, it's interesting what transpires on this journey in life, and how polarizing we can be, how we can like hold these ideas in our head that we will always or never do something. And then you step into it and you realize it was always part of the plan. It's part of the journey. It's grown me exponentially. And it's really a career pause, more than anything. And there's no shame in it.
Yeah. It's been, I mean, beautiful gifts on the other side that, again, you didn't even maybe even ask for, right? Like, I know that's how I feel with motherhood all the time. It's like, wait, this is a beautiful gift I didn't even ask for, didn't even think I wanted. And it just, I mean, not to say that it's not hard and that there are definitely the days, but the way that like it blesses in ways that I just had no idea.
Right. Or that I didn't realize my soul needed, like, even much to my dismay some days, I mean, there are days I'm like, I don't even enjoy this, or like, I don't want to be doing this. And yet I'm not going to not do this. Like, I have this, I'm going to be here until my kids go to school. And then from there, I don't know what it looks like. I just know that I have to be with them right now. That's all I know.
Yeah. It's all I know. Yeah. So true. So true. Okay. So all of these like titles, one of the things that we talked about that we were going to like unjuggle together today,
Yeah.
like where you're at in this space right now. Kind of
Yes.
describe like set the scene for like what's going on
Sure.
in your home, what's going on in your world right now, and what you're as this powerhouse woman,
Thank you.
this woman who has like lived a different life. You know, you spent how many years? Like
It
15
was
years in
shy of
corporate.
20, shy of 20.
Yeah. I
I know.
mean, like high profile corporate.
Yes.
Now you're in this season of like stay at home mom. Like you're capable of everything.
Thank you.
And talk about the season you're in right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when you were asking me as we were prepping for this, an area in my life that I'm struggling with, it's interesting because I knew exactly the feeling, but I couldn't put words to it. And so when I finally was able to
Mm.
articulate it was essentially I am struggling um functioning in a liminal space.
Okay. And what does that mean?
So that's an in-between space. And you could go as far as to say we're maybe always in some level of a liminal space, but for me this is such a new space that feels like I've closed the door on corporate America. I closed the door on this 20-year 9 to 5 high octane, you know, eh, existence. I am staying at home with my kids. I know that there's something more for me, but I don't know what it is. And so a liminal space lacks a lot of
Mm.
clarity. It's a transitional space. It's like there's an identity that's kind of being sloughed off, and there's this new identity that's taking shape. And yet, there's further identity on the other side of this, quote unquote door. And this space is asking for complete and utter surrender. It's asking for me to let go of control. It's asking for me to trust. And that is not my strong suit. So I am struggling
Oh,
immensely knowing all of this that once was so wonderful. And I appreciate it. And there's nothing but gratitude. And yet I know it's no longer.
yeah.
And my heart and soul have this like desire, this like pull, but I know I'm not ready yet.
Oh,
And so I have to sit. And it like gives me goosebumps because I sit with less money. I sit with less time. I sit with this feeling that I'm going to rot in certain ways by not using maybe the muscles over here. And I'm like
mhm.
failing to recognize all the net new muscles and all the net new, contacts I'm making in these people and how these are all meant for what's next. And instead of really embracing that and seeing that as a gift, I fight it.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Well, all of it. I mean, I empathize with you because I've been there.
Yeah.
Like I've been in those shoes. And to your point, like, yeah, sometimes we're always in like a transition. So I could say I'm still there in some
Right.
ways. But
Right.
it's like this crazy grieving
Mhm.
process almost. It's
1000%.
like you don't want any part of what you once had.
Right.
Like it served its purpose.
Right.
You know that.
Right.
And and yet you're like it's almost like it still pulls you enough to keep you stuck that you can't move
Mhm.
forward. And then
Right.
it's just like this middle. And I think that especially for folks like you and me,
Yeah. Right?
these like stereotypical high achievers, do. I'm
Yes.
gonna work until I'm gonna get it done. I don't care come
Yeah.
heck or high water. I'm
Right.
gonna do it.
Right.
To like also know in your being that you're just supposed to like be sitting,
Right.
and that somehow, some way, like in that stillness, you're being prepared for something. But
Right.
it drives you freaking bonkers because you don't know what it is. And if you
Right.
did know what it was, then you could better prepare.
Right.
Like,
I know.
right? It's just like this
It's
circle.
torture. It's torturous for someone like us. But I
Toward
think that's the whole point, right? So it feels like I always say there's like this illustration I have in my mind of like like a racehorse and there's the
Mhm.
gate and I'm waiting for them to open the gate. I'm waiting for the gate to open. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. But I'm not. And I know I'm
Yeah.
not. And deep down that small still voice, right? Or the still small voice inside of me is like not yet. And I know it because then what'll happen is right when I'm at the precipice of having like truly like a mental breakdown,
Yep.
I will be given what I call a God wink. And it's a
Mhm.
person, it's a moment, it's something happens, and it shows me like this little iota of something that could potentially be. And I start to feel myself say that. I want like that. but
Yeah.
I'm not ready for that. And I can actually own that in the process. Like, it's almost like right when I'm about to give up, I get a little glimpse of something that ignites a fire inside of me that reminds me when a fire is ignited, I will respond to the call, but not yet. And it's just this,
But not yet.
but not yet. And I know that. Because if you
God.
asked me tomorrow to call and get a nanny for my kid because, God's ready to have me run after this thing, I would say no.
Yeah.
I would say no, I don't
It
have the margin.
because you're not ready yet. And
Not ready.
how do you okay, so how are you working through that? How are you unjuggling?
Yeah. So I think it's like building a new muscle, right? They say it like takes 21
Mm,
days to like build a new habit. And I think I've been really trying to be okay with the process. And it's not, but every day tell myself like, but you're not ready yet. Even if I have to repeat it to myself or I get lost in fantasy or I try and think of different scenarios that may create a possibility in which I could be ready sooner, it's none of it, all of it's too much work. And I'm like,
yep.
that's not what the next thing is going to feel like. I'm
Yeah.
convinced of that. And so I think, yeah, I think the way I've been working through it is a ton of prayer. I have a coach that I lean on. I have a spiritual director. I have a therapist, and I'm not seeing these people consistently and
Yep.
frequently. But I think when I get to that place of here comes this control freak and I'm going to go jerk that wheel to the right, I really employ people to help remind me that this space is sacred, that I'm not
Mhm.
meant to rush out of it, you know, that whatever is meant is being kind of forged in this fire and I come back to myself. And so that's the
Yeah.
only way. I mean, there's nothing else I can do, or else what I'm doing is I am taking control and I'm creating another form. And that's not what I'm
Yep.
supposed to be doing. So I'm really trying to remain still and just one foot in front of the other and try not to like disguise this desire to do something in any other way, which I did for a while. I was like, well, maybe I should be a coach. Maybe I should do X. Maybe I should do this. And every time I'd run after something, I would very quickly, thank God, realize what I was doing. I'm like, oh, you're
Yep.
trying to force the outcome. What
Yep.
happens if you
Again.
just say yes to the little things that are falling in your path now that are creating kind of the landscape for what is to come? And so, yeah, it's not easy, but that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, it's not easy at all. How do you like I'm listening to you and I'm just like the things that you're talking about, you're right. None of it is easy.
No.
But even to like how the heck did you even get to a space where you could have so much self-awareness? Like because I'm thinking of like and we've seen it. You think about the person who hates their job. So they leave their job and they jump right into another job that
Mhm.
they end up equally hating because
Right.
we're so like, we just, I think a lot of times we probably solve the wrong problem
Yep.
is the first thing. It's
Yep.
like, how did you get to such a place where you're like, where you can hear these like God, where you can see these God winks and see them for what they are, or
Yeah.
where you can even to like feel these nudges and be like, that's awesome. I know it's waiting for me, but not yet. Like, you
Mhm.
have to be so in tune.
Yeah, you do. You do. And it's funny because so the chick that I'm working for in Denver, I work like 6 hours a week at my own discretion. So if my kids go to bed or they take a nap and I want to hop on and help where I can, and that's been really just good for my brain.
Yeah.
But she mentioned this the other day. She's like, we joke because she doesn't give words of affirmation. It's like not her thing, and that's my love language. And she had given me this compliment around exactly what you just said. She goes, it's almost like your why, and therefore it's easy for you to know your yeses and your nos. Um, and I'm paraphrasing, but I
Yeah.
would say that two things. Um, I I hired a coach years ago, and he ran me through some exercises that were really enlightening. And one of them was every time I plotted out my life and gave it a number. So, a 10 was like some of the highest moments of my life, and ones were some of the lowest. When we drew out the plot on paper in front of me, I noticed that every time there was a 10, it was followed by a 1. And it was
Oh.
because I self-sabotage. And so
Oh, dang.
I would have an ultimate moment, right? Name something. And it would always be followed by 1 because something about me, and I think a lot of people are wired this way, can't
Yeah.
handle when things are really good. and we don't even
Yeah.
know how to identify. It almost brings on this anxiety, and then we self-sabotage to kind of bring ourselves down before anything else can hurt us. It's like a protection mechanism. But once
Yes.
I was able to name that I did that, it was a lot easier to say, here comes the 10, here come those feelings, here come those feelings. Don't give in. Don't give in.
Uh-huh.
Like, this is where you go and you're going to put yourself down. Don't do it. And so that was a practice that I had to learn. And
Yeah.
because of that, right? And then in addition to that, having really truly a network of people that hold up a mirror. I'm really good at receiving feedback. So
Mm.
somebody helping me with that. And then throughout the years, people continuing to kind of like prod me with mirrors, saying, Amanda, this is your tendency, this is your pattern of behavior, helped me. People who love me, by the way, and
Yeah.
let me be
Yeah.
very clear, right?
Yes.
Like, you don't just welcome any critics in your life. A lot of people don't necessarily want to see you win. But
Mhm.
for those that do, and they're willing to hold the mirror and be really honest with you, it helps remind you of who you are and what you're willing to say yes to and what you're willing to say no to. So coaching really helped me to visualize that and set boundaries. And then my community has really helped me helped me to stay true to those.
Yeah. Oh
So,
my
yeah.
goodness.
But
Or
like right now is a 10, if I'm being really honest. Like, we want for nothing. I have
Mhm.
my kids at home. I am blessed enough to not have to outsource that. I know that's not everybody even has the ability to make that choice. Um, and I'm at a 10. And so it's like, because I know I'm at a 10 because I feel the need to jump ship. And I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
no, you're going to sit here and you're going to sit in this and you're not ruining this one. And especially when it comes to my kids. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's kind of been my guiding light.
I think it sounds so crazy, and this is exactly why, yes, most authentic human being I've ever talked to, because I think there's probably so many of us who I don't know if we could even like put the words to it kind of the way that you're saying, like you're almost having to convince yourself, you're
Mhm.
almost having to talk yourself into relishing in this goodness in your
1,000%.
life.
Yeah.
Right? Like it sounds bonkers, but like how
Right.
many times
Right.
I know I've done the same thing where it's like so good. And I think most of the time, 9 out of 10 times we're number one, we're all just moving so dang fast.
Yep.
So you don't even realize that
Right.
you're having a 10 moment,
Right.
much less than you get into 10 moments and you're like, I don't deserve this.
Uncomfortable.
I'm not worthy. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
uncomfortable to have things be so good, almost to a
Mhm.
point like I know things that I felt before, like in a high point where I not only I was trying to talk myself out of my level 10 moment
Yep.
because I felt bad. Like I felt guilty for being so happy. I
Yeah.
felt bad for like my dreams coming true. And so it was
Mhm.
like, yeah, I tried to self-sabotage myself out of it as quickly as I could.
Right. Right. And it always takes us down, a much longer path. And I think back on my life, just the times that I have chosen the wide path versus the
Yeah.
narrow, like when I've chosen the easy way out, or, just like, because I was married once before, and when I think about how I handled stress and how I would just kind of like jump ship, like I was an avoidant,
Mm,
and you would think at the time that you were avoiding a lot of pain by taking this easier route or the quick route or the control, and really what you were doing is you're just like hopping on like this very long detour. That's
sure.
going to eventually bring you back to yourself. But I'm like, oh, how about not doing that? How about, what does it look like to do this in a more intentional way and not have to go
Mhm.
through all that personal hell? And so I think that maybe scared me a little bit. And so I have that also as something that's guiding me. But yeah, I mean, I really think we all have that tendency to miss it. I just
To
want to
miss
miss
it.
it.
You just don't wanna miss it. Yeah. Yeah. And your pattern to like so then knowing your what is I'm curious, what does that look like when you've got someone who's kind of sharing with you like, "Hey, this pattern of behavior,"
Yeah.
and in that really like intimate and loving conversation,
Yeah.
like even getting yourself to a space where you could accept that kind of feedback, and then
Mhm.
what do you do with it? Like, what does a conversation like that look like when someone's mirroring that back to you?
Yeah. It's hard because that is those conversations are for very few people, unfortunately, right? It's like that isn't
Uh-huh.
what you're going to get out of this standard
Mm-mm.
acquaintance. And maybe you do, but I had to get really honest about who had my best interest in mind. And I had to get really clear on what that looked like and felt like, because that can be really confusing. There are a lot of people that I've dealt with in my life currently and in my past who, even consciously and subconsciously, are high control, and
Mhm.
they like to control me because that somehow feeds them. And so certain narratives from those folks would always feel a little bit like I'd walk away thinking it's something inherently wrong with me. The
Yeah.
conversations that I know are full of love and support, and even if they contain healthy criticism, or like they're holding up a mirror and they're helping me, remain self-aware, are you can sense it. Your central nervous system knows when somebody's like for you and wants the best for you, because their language, their body language, the words they
Mhm.
use, and the way that they walk alongside you, and the way that they practice it in their own life. A lot of people that you see practicing self-awareness, right? And practicing compassion and empathy and love are the kind of people that I feel like if they're going to help me and come alongside me,
Mm.
they're going to want that for me, and they're going to, so it's a multitude of things. It's like the people who've helped me the most are ones that hold so much space for me, and then can say, this is what you want for you. I'm here to tell you, I'm here to remind you of what you want for yourself. It's not them putting their agenda on me, or
Yes.
them saying, hey, this would actually kind of make me feel better about me if you did X, Y, or Z, right? Then I wouldn't feel so
Yeah.
alone, or then I wouldn't, right? So I think it's been getting really clear on the type of people I let in my
Mhm.
world, and then realizing that they better practice what they preach if
Yeah.
I'll hold up a mirror,
I think that I think finding the right community. I have a lot of
Community.
conversations with folks, and it just seems so difficult, if I'm
Mhm.
being honest. Like, it just, like, that seems to be the collective experience, is that
Yes.
it's so difficult to truly, like, figure out and find. I refer to it as, like, who has a seat at my table.
Yep.
That's what I refer to it
Totally.
as. And I did. I mean, I remember even too when I was going through the transition of knowing that I needed to get out of corporate, but not yet knowing what that
Right.
looked like or what the heck I was going to do, and the anxiety and everything. And one of the exercises that I put myself through was, like, I sat down, and I may have even told you about this. I sat down and I was like, who do I want at my table?
Yes. Yes.
And it was like, I mean, just kind of like you were saying, it was like, okay, you know what? I want a spiritual guide.
Mhm.
I want an entrepreneur coach. I want a loving, like, best friend. Like,
Yeah.
I want, like, and I just kind of, and I didn't know, in some ways, maybe I knew who these people were going to be, but
Sure.
for the ones that I didn't know, like, I
Yeah.
remember one that I thought was so silly. It was like, I want a manifesting guru at my table. And I was like, what? I ain't never manifested a day in my
I
life. Like,
know.
what is it? But that was someone who was like, that was a desire that was coming forth. It was like, I had to get so intentional about who I wanted at my table.
Yes.
And then I knew by, like, naming their qualities, I
Mhm.
started to realize, okay, what all these people have in common, they're faith-filled, like, loving, compassionate, honest,
Yeah.
authentic people.
Right.
And then lo and behold, beautiful gems like you come into my world. Like, I believe that that
I
stuff's
agree.
possible,
No,
but I think, like, finding
yeah,
finding those people is hard.
it is hard. And like truly it is. I mean, I can't tell you how many iterations of community I've gone through here in Colorado since moving here, where I think these are the type of people, right? And maybe and then you start to peel back layers, and you're like, oh, you haven't done the work. And oh, we still hold a lot of hate and a lot of anger, and which is very fair, but we're talking,
For
and we
sure.
treat people unfairly because of it. And we don't carry
Uh,
compassion, empathy, and we can't see past our nose. We love creating echo chambers. We can't handle dissenting opinions and all of that. And I was like, that's not who I want to be. So that's not who I can surround myself with. And I think once, I don't know, I don't want to sound cliche, but I think for me, turning 40 did a number on me. And it was one of those where I thought, I don't know how much longer I have. And I just, like I said, I'm not going to miss it. I'm not going to spend 2 to 3 years hanging out with the wrong people to fill my
right.
social calendar. I'd rather be alone. And I have to be
Yeah.
okay with that. And that comes with its own discomfort and curiosity and, insecurities. But when you know your why, you know what you want, your yes, you know what you want at your table, who you want at your table, like
Mhm.
don't settle for less. Like you got to push through the discomfort.
Yeah.
But choosing
Don't.
comfort, right? That's what I keep saying, I think has always like led me actually down the wrong path. And
Mhm.
I'm now I'm scared straight. So
Which right, and that's as much for you as anything. Like
yeah.
those, it's so that like this is your chance to rewire, rewrite, and reestablish like a new pattern that's
1,000%.
on your terms, and that's it's 100% intentional from beginning to end.
Yeah. Right.
I'm curious, something that's like coming through is like, do you already know, like, have you already identified what it is that maybe you're waiting on to feel ready for, like, that door in front of you to swing wide open? Like, do you already know what it is? Not that you have to share necessarily,
No, I
but
don't
like,
care. No,
do
I'll
you?
share. Yeah. I mean, that's the fun of it. So here's what's funny. I don't know the what. That's going to be
Yep,
that's going to be the grand reveal. I feel like that's going to be the
that's the
thing.
door.
That's the
Yeah.
door. But what I can get really clear on is what I know it's not. And I think knowing what it's not has helped me feel more excited and more ready because I know confidently what it won't be. And
Mm,
that has been that's been a gift. So when I said yes to doing this 6 hours a week for my now boss here in Denver, I have learned through her that it will never be corporate America, 9 to 5. Like, I don't believe the next thing will require me to ask somebody for time off. It
yes.
is, it, I don't believe the next thing will be me doing something behind a screen and not engaging with people. I don't
Mm,
believe the next thing will be requiring me to leave my family. I don't think the next, so I don't know. And then things that keep coming up for me are things that I haven't accessed in a really long time. So I started writing poetry again. And I started doing a little bit of this poetry. I'm recording some of the poetry for my podcast. And then just today, I interviewed an author and poet who also
mm,
does spoken word in the UK. And he is just this like wonderful soul. And so we connected and he sent me this script for a film he's working on. So I started reading through that. And so I don't know, Brittany, I can just tell you that like the people coming into my world, the people that are being woven in right now, they're creatives. Um,
mm.
they are really in touch with themselves. They're all on a healing journey and they all find these really cool ways to express themselves. And I feel myself really energetically like magnetized to that. But what it looks like, I have no idea. I'm just trying to follow those small God wings and also get
Yep.
really clear on what it isn't so that I don't fall into that trap of like, oh, like maybe I can sell that part of my soul again. I don't, I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not, so I feel like, yeah, that's the best answer I can give you is I
Yeah.
don't know the what, but I can tell you that like, I keep feeling like I'm getting hints.
Yep, you're attracting the right who, what,
Yes.
when, where, and it's like it's coming in
Yes.
all at a time that is like at a rate as well that you can
Uh-huh.
digest and that you can really sit with and be prepared for, is
Yeah.
what it sounds like.
Yes. And I will say something that somebody shared with me that was really profound to me. So I had one of my connections who works in the world of politics had reached out to me and said, would you ever think about running for Congress against Lauren Boebert? Because you're in the district and you have a heart and a soul for people and change. And like, would you ever think of doing that? And I thought, well, let me look into this. Like, what would this entail? And so I reached out to my community and my sounding boards. And one of my friends who was asking me all the right questions and holding up that mirror said, okay, I think what I'm hearing you say, Amanda, is like right energy, wrong vessel. And I was like,
Mm.
yes, yes. Like he goes, there's something that like it gives me goosebumps. He's like, there's something about this idea of having an impact, using your voice to have an impact on people. And but I don't know if like going up against Lauren Boebert and putting your family in the spotlight and running a political race to then have to spend half your year in DC, like I don't know if that's like necessarily where
What
like that kind of goes
what
against everything you've stated you want, right? But it's shiny and someone's tapping me on the shoulder and
mm.
asking me, and these people are well connected. And this is, the same person who's behind uh, I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to mention names, but we may know him for running against Nancy Pelosi. And so it was an interesting conversation. There's been a couple conversations that I've had with these people who, um, it's bright and shiny and it sounds
Yep.
amazing. You start to tell yourself you could really step into that. And then you realize, no, that's like absolutely not what I want.
But again, being willing to like pay attention, and not just pay attention, but like the level of analysis that you're willing to go with yourself. Like,
Yeah.
what is it? What is it about this that makes me feel excited? Okay.
Mhm.
What would I still not? No, thanks,
Yeah.
hard path. Like, what's hitting a non-negotiable for me?
Right.
Okay, what is like what like and just being willing to like ask yourself those questions and give space for all of the feelings, like
Yeah.
instead of trying to suppress one down, like, no, screw the fear, I'm sure I could do it. It's like, no, hey, wait, there's a little bit of healthy fear here.
Mhm.
What could this potentially be trying to like highlight for me? Is it
Yep.
because it's not the right time? Is it because it's like, and just
Yeah.
really diving in? I think it's
Yeah.
so important.
Yeah, I really love the way that my friend stated. I think it's the right energy, I think you're onto something, but I don't think it's the right vessel, and I thought you're right. I
Fair.
really do
Yeah.
wanna make change, but maybe it's at a smaller local level or, whatever it may be, so
So
but
good.
yeah, yeah.
I also too, like, I wanna go back, how important, because it just it's so key. It's standing out as key for me right now, just that you're willing to identify, like, what you don't want.
Mhm,
And I've heard folks, like, they get really hard on themselves around spending so much time around, like, well, this is what I don't want. No, 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 no. And
mhm,
so then they start feeling like, oh, this is the negative of it. This is but it's like, I really, really appreciate your perspective and the journey that you're on, where you've like allowed yours, what I don't want,
mhm,
to be such like a powerful guiding light,
mhm.
that it sounds like it shines light on the things that you do want in this next season.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's simple, no manifestos that we can create for ourselves,
Mhm.
such as no to people pleasing, yes to authentic
Yeah,
connection, right? So every no is really a yes. It's just,
it
I
is.
think, like for me, I love kind of going through the no filter because then it helps me articulate a little bit,
Yeah.
like, so it's not just no and then that's it. It's not no, period, right? It's no
Yep.
to that because I'm saying yes to these things. And, and so, that's been just so helpful for me. And so I look at it in a really positive light that
Agreed.
having your non-negotiables, if you want to call them your no's, your non-negotiables, your deal breakers, your red lights, whatever they are
Yep.
for you, it just really like allows there to be so much more space to dance with the things that you want in your life and can
Yes.
embrace. Yeah.
Ah, so good, so good. Okay, so then the area of your life that you feel like you've unstruggled, unjuggled, and I already see so many parallels.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things you and I were talking about essentially is kind of the thing I've unjuggled is like a performance-based life, right?
Mhm.
And really trying to look at it from every aspect because performance at work was always rewarded. That's a really good thing. Performance personally, you think you're being rewarded, right? But all you're doing is really creating an inauthentic connection. And that's a house of cards.
Mhm.
And performance when I was younger and I danced was a good thing, So it's like, so performance, I had to untangle performance. I had to unjuggle performance, just what it even meant. And where was I doing it consciously? Because that was what was going to get me more money, accolades, climbing the corporate ladder. And then where was I performing because I was afraid that maybe I wouldn't have love or worth if I wasn't
I didn't.
this. And as much as they sound like two different things, they're not. And
Mm.
so I had to realize that um, being rewarded for output is one thing, but nobody was asking me to perform. That's just what I associated with being worthy of whatever that was. And then in
Uh-huh.
relationship, I realized the minute I stopped performing, some people were relieved. They're like, yeah, we've known you all along. So, like, thank God, please. And then some people, when I stopped performing, did not like it. Like we need you to
They
sit
were
back.
nowhere to be found.
Yeah, we didn't like yeah, we don't like when you're authentically you because you kind of come with some baggage and maybe you're not always in the best mood and you've got a lot of anxiety and you kind of annoy me. And I'm like, okay, and so then getting really comfortable with that and saying, yeah, but the amount of mental margin it takes up, the amount of energy, the amount of like just heaviness that I carry trying to be someone I'm not in hopes that you give me like a gold star was so gross.
So gross.
It's so
Yeah.
gross, but you do it and
Yeah.
you learn from it. And so now I would say that I've tried to unjuggle that. And then if you meet me or you know me, or if anyone who's listening knows me, they would agree with that. I rarely do anything I don't want to do. And I try really hard to be fully me. I mean, there's me, then there's different hats we wear as people. Like I can be goofy and funny and I can be carefree on a girl's trip. And then as a mom, I'm a helicopter and I'm frantic but it's all who I am. I'm
Yes.
not
Yeah.
trying to pretend to be anyone I'm not. And I'm trying
Exactly.
really hard not to be. And even if I find myself falling into that trap, I try to come back from it, assess what I would do differently because you're never going to, I'm not trying to be perfect, but I think if I can just keep that lens on, is this for them? Is this for me?
Who is this for? Like,
who is
what
this
is
for?
who's this
What is this
for?
for?
Yeah.
What am I
Who and
hoping
what
the
is
outcome is by not saying what I want or saying how I feel? And there's fine lines, right? Because I go to ChatGPT a lot with some of this stuff where I ask, okay, but if I'm being kind and warm to somebody that I don't
Mhm.
like and that hasn't treated me well, am I ultimately being manipulative? And it'll
Mm.
like spit it back at me and say, great question. No,
You're so smart.
yeah, good question. You're trying to be kind and also protect yourself. And in these
Yeah,
scenarios, that's fair. And
that's
you know what I
fair.
mean? So it's weird because it's not, it's an and. Yes, and
Yes,
versus
not
either
an
or. It's
or.
like,
Yeah.
yes, I'm very well aware that I no longer want to perform. And there are moments that require parts of me, not all of me, because somebody can't hold it safely.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
necessarily performance, but
I always go back to like with any of that stuff, like I always go back to intention. Like when
mhm,
I think like when I was on my journey of like realizing the importance of showing up authentically and just
yeah,
like how it changed my life and yeah, like you said, like the 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 weight of like trying to perform and be all these things. And
yeah,
it's just it's so heavy
it's
and
so
it feels like you can never get out. And so I think about like when I was trying to get out, like when I started to realize that I didn't have to, I think like the very first experience I had was actually when I just changed jobs.
mhm,
And at that point in time, like really still really young in my career
yeah,
and was still thinking that in order to be successful in business, you had to be like stuffy. You could have no personality.
mhm,
And you always had to follow the rules and you
yeah,
better learn how to command a room. And I
right,
had this woman still cherish her so much to this day. I had this woman, Anjaninda, and she, like, I saw people start flocking, like moths to a flame. Like, I saw people
mhm,
flock to this woman who was so authentically her,
yep,
wild. God knows what she was going to say, would
yeah,
laugh out loud. Like, and I saw that it was possible to command a room and I saw it was possible to have success. And it looked very different than this very
yeah,
distorted
yeah,
version that I had
of the
always
time.
known.
Yes,
Yeah, and so, like, going that but it was an actual, like, intentional transition that would have that had to like, when I wanted to say something, kind, unkind, whatever it was, however it was gonna be perceived wasn't for me to carry, but it was
yes,
like I had to go back to, like, what is my intention
yep,
with
I love
showing up
that.
this way?
Heck
And
yeah,
that was
yeah.
huge for me.
Yeah, and I think that's such a good reminder because that is typically after all the mental gymnastics, I'm like, "But I didn't this was not my intent. That's not why I
Yeah,
do what I do. I could care less to manipulate. Like I just want to protect and I don't want additional
yeah.
noise, whatever it may be." And that's such a wise reminder.
Is the intention. What, in your, like, on your road in your journey to authenticity, like, where you
Yeah.
started to really unpack this whole performance thing, like, what kind of what helped you in that transition?
So it was making my circle really small for a season
That's
because I did an episode on my podcast last season called Butt Naked with Amanda Humberson. And I talked about this idea of giving proverbially, what? Proverbi-
yeah,
Proverbially,
proverbial.
yeah,
Okay,
proverbially
yes.
naked in front of people. This is why you should edit.
I love it.
No, but it naked in front of people, right? And like showing people all of me and seeing that it can be loved and accepted and that I'm not crazy and I'm not broken and that I am worthy of these things. And so doing that really helped, I think, just helping me
Good.
cancel some of the noise that was happening in my world at the time that wasn't healthy for me, coming from toxic or unhealthy people, and then getting really quiet and still and through prayer and meditation and direction
Mhm.
and people who could hold up mirrors and sounding boards and challenge me, and then to really fully come back as myself after that season, now realizing when I am in larger groups or I'm meeting new people, I'm quicker to filter, and anything that would try and maybe jostle me off of my authentic track. It's
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
have to be really particular about the energy I'm around.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed. What's coming through for me is like I know for me on my journey, I went through, it was like a decluttering
Yes.
season.
Yes.
And it sounds like you did the same thing where it
You
was
have
like,
to.
you got to clean house in your relationships, I mean, physically clean
Mhm.
house,
Yep.
mentally, emotionally.
Yes.
I, I cleaned house.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah.
And you and I
Yeah.
talked about this, and it's hard. It's
It's hard.
isolating. Yeah, you
Hmm.
question yourself, you doubt yourself, and then you come back and you think, I can't live like that ever again. Like there is no space for that ever again. And so yeah, you
Yeah.
just get really boundaried, and I know people abuse that term, but it's a very real thing.
It's a very real thing. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
very real thing. Oh, I have loved all of this.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
I'm so glad to like the I'm Not Finished podcast. Can we talk about that for a minute?
Sure.
Because I just I love your podcast. I listen to very
Thank you.
few podcasts. However, I listen to yours. I
Thank you.
laugh. I just like what's like the guiding light of your podcasts?
Sure, sure. So I think when I started it, I had this overwhelming sense of I'm not finished. Truly, I personally am not finished. And then I wanted to talk to people who were navigating adversity, who also held this posture of I'm not finished. Something had cracked them open and really taught them that we're not trying to get from A to Z. That's really never been the goal. You're never finished. You're never finished evolving and growing and learning and doing. And people who hold themselves that way, I'm very attracted to. So I think
Mhm.
I created it as a space for me to heal. And
Mhm.
I really heal through connecting with others. And so I created a space that I needed. And so that's what it is it's me bringing people on that I've met that have come along the way that have a story to tell. And we do it within 15-ish minutes because I'm big on efficiency and just like, hey, that's my nature. I'm quick. I'm boom, 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 and also that was just my brand. It was like, I want to bring people on and I want to share these little snippets because I want people to have that like tangible takeaway as they start their week, to help encourage just some hope along this
Yeah.
journey that never ends and that there is no finish line. And so how can we hold a posture of I'm not finished with confidence and hope and love? And
And
the people
just
who come
and
on are really that brand. They really are. I bring on some
oh
incredible
yeah.
souls. Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing the things like the people you've attracted to your table
Yeah,
and how big that table has become.
it really has.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah.
impressive, it's inspiring,
Thank
all
you.
of the things. All
Thanks.
of the things. Okay, so for the end of the episode, as we head into the end here, I started a couple things this year new with the
Okay.
With Friends episodes,
Okay.
or actually, so there's like 3 parts to this, okay?
Yes.
So the first part, like part of my whole messaging, I mean, part of what I wrote the book on, all the jazz is like
Yeah.
quitting the things that are no longer serving us. So
Yep.
when I say that phrase, quitting the things that are no longer serving, what comes to mind for you?
Narcissism. Narcissists.
Yeah. I feel like most of the time I ask for explanation, but I feel like on that one, no, I'm good. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's just
Yeah.
no space for it, right?
No,
No space.
no.
No space. Yep. Okay. Then the second thing is that the guest prior leaves the next guest a question. So this guest isn't that fun?
That's
You
so
guys.
fun.
So
I
fun.
love
Okay. So this question is coming from Jory O'Neill. So
Okay.
she would tell you she's a story, what does she say? A story midwife. So
Mm.
she pulls stories out of people.
Yes.
And so we were talking about her story and one of the things
Okay,
that
this
she
is
unpacked.
exciting. All right.
Her question is, are you running from something or to something?
Depends on the day. That's, I think, the part of the
Ooh,
liminal
fair.
space. The liminal space is a constant tug between door
Mm,
1 that you left and door 2 that hasn't opened, and so I feel like there are days I, like, go like this, and then I remind myself, like, "Don't put the shackle back around your ankle." So if I'm being
mhm.
honest, I would have to say both.
I think that's beautiful. And that makes sense. That
Yeah,
makes total sense for the season
yeah,
that you're in. And also to like knowing, I just think, yeah, from me to you, my friend, like I think there's something so beautiful about knowing that you're in this space, being okay that you're in this
mhm,
space, and also like how beautiful and hopeful it is knowing that there's a door right there. It's
yeah,
not open yet, but
right,
like the door is very present. The
mhm,
feeling is very present. The direction you're going in is very present. Like
yeah,
all of those things,
yes,
like this is good. This is
yeah.
good and this is meant for you.
Yeah,
That's
and that's when
beautiful.
you feel like you're running towards it, right? And then there's just
Mhm.
this moment sometimes where there's all this that's still there, it's still fresh, you can access it.
Yeah.
You're like, but I don't, you wanna get away from it. But by doing that, I might take control and I might jack the wheel and I might not end up where I'm supposed to be. So it's like, I don't know, it's just
Yep.
like this pull. Yeah.
It's that like learning to be still, learning to
Yeah.
trust
Yeah.
ourselves too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge. Okay, and then the last piece of this is that means that you have to leave a question for the next guest.
Okay. So my question for the next guest is what makes you belly laugh?
I love it.
What makes you
Mm.
laugh so hard you can't breathe? Like, is it a story? Is it a memory? Is it a person? Is it a show? Like anything that helps you access that place.
Oh my gosh, what a great question. Okay, now you have to answer your own question. Come
Oh,
on.
that's part of this?
It
Oh
is
my god.
now.
Okay. What makes me like moments in time. Like it's not necessarily like a show I watch. It's not even like friends. Like I laugh with my friends, but the moments that I just remember like laughing until I like almost peed my pants
Yeah.
or did. Um, like, should I just tell the story? Do you want the story before we
Yes, you
Okay.
absolutely could.
There is literally a friend of mine, and we're not like friends anymore, not for any like negative reasons. We were just like friends in college and then went our separate ways. His name was Matt, and he could always make me laugh until I peed my pants because he would stop at nothing. And my husband's kind of like this too. He will stop at nothing. But we were hanging out one night, we were in college. His dad was a total he's really sweet man, but like kind of a curmudgeon and was always yelling. And Matt would do anything to like piss his dad off. And so we were sitting there and he said, I'm gonna go get in my sister's cheerleading costume or cheerleading outfit, and I'm gonna wake my dad up. And I like, why would you do that? Like it was like and so he did. He went and got in his sister's
Oh.
cheerleading outfit, and I just hear him go upstairs, and he does it to make me laugh. And I hear him go, WAKEUP, wake up. And you just hear him, Matt. He comes running down the stairs in his cheerleading outfit. His dad's running after him. Like, Brittany, I've never laughed that hard. Like, like this is just how he functioned in his like everyday life. And I remember, like, I'm not even laughing that hard now telling it, but it's the kind of thing that if I access that memory once in a while and like I really think about it, I can laugh like as hard as I've laughed. And it's like I've
Oh,
told
yeah.
that story before because he's just like,
Oh.
yeah, there's just those people that, yeah, I don't know. So, like, as we get older, I feel like we have less laugh attacks.
Oh,
If you have
yeah,
special
that's
ed, what gives
sad.
you a laugh attack? Because Matt would give
That
me laugh attacks.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's,
no,
you're
I'm not even
reminding me
being
of a
physical.
You're reminding me of a friend. Yeah, we had longest time. Like, don't talk too often now. Just a
Yeah,
life thing. Nothing happened. But
yeah, right.
yeah, we spent lots of summers camping, and it was very, very common for us to play 500 Dead or Alive with the football. That's what you're
Yeah,
doing. You're teenagers, you ain't got nothing else going on. It's a big
right.
field. You're throwing it back and forth, and we're throwing it. And again, we've been playing for hours. We have been playing for hours. And this guy, he throws it. And I don't know why. I just think it's the funniest dang thing still to this day. He's like, so, because it's always the same thing. 100 dead or alive, 50 alive, 100. Like, it's always the same thing. Out of
Yeah,
nowhere, after hours, he goes, mystery box. And he throws the, the mystery box. And I still just to this day, like anytime like Shane will be, say something or like we'll have a couple things out or whatever to be like,
yeah,
mystery box. And it reminds me of that
yeah,
exact moment. I lose my stuff. And
it
it's yeah,
is.
it's those little like laughing
Like these
fits.
moments, like this kid Nick
Um,
used to, it's not even appropriate, but he would have like fake seizures in the hallway to like scare the
oh no,
teachers. I know
it's
it's not
not
appropriate. And it was
no, it's
so out of, it was
awful.
awful. But I would laugh so hard I couldn't breathe. And it's the
Oh
kind of
my
thing that would catch
God.
you later in the day, and then it would catch you later, like those are the
What
moments.
was what was the last laugh attack you had as an adult? Like, is there anything that's happened over the last week?
My husband makes me laugh a lot. I mean, we laugh a
Yeah.
lot. I just when I think about a laugh attack, I can't. I mean, I'm talking like where I can't breathe. I might even have to
Yeah.
get back to him that I can't access
Yeah.
it. And I think that's been
That
the biggest thing. And that's why that's my question is
mm,
because we just don't laugh as hard.
yeah.
You get caught up in life, and I just feel like I have to remind myself sometimes. I'm like, you used to be really fun. It's like in this movie
Oh, I
with me, I'm
know.
like, I'm a good time Sally, but you have
I
kids, you're
promise.
tired. Yeah, I'm like, I used to be really fun. I
I
know
find it
that,
with
yeah.
the kids a lot, like the kids and some
Yes.
of the stuff that they say, like I could say, over the last week, I couldn't even tell you what it was. I know it about dropped me though, because
Yeah.
it was like my son, he said something like, oh, it was something so silly. It was like, hey buddy, you want some juice this morning or something? He's like, Mom, I'm not really a juice kind of guy.
Yeah. Like, yes. Like, I'm always laughing, right, I'm just trying to think if I like Mabel, I think you may have seen this post, my daughter, but it's the same thing. We go, "What do you"
Oh
I
yeah.
was videotaping them eating their candies, and I go, "What are you guys having?" And she goes, "Reese's penises." Yeah, I'm like,
Yes.
"Okay." Yeah, so, like, that sent
Yes.
me feeling
See?
Reese's penises. Yeah, I'm
I'm
like, "Okay."
grateful. I'm grateful for the kids for that.
Yes,
They
for
do. They
sure.
do
I
help for
got it. Oh,
sure.
that's a good
That's a
question.
great question.
Yeah.
I know the next guest, I know she's going to love. She's going to love and thoroughly enjoy that question. So
Yeah.
thank you, my friend. All
Oh,
right. If folks want to get in touch with you, obviously we talked
sure.
about that I'm Not Finished podcast. They can find it on Apple, Spotify,
Yeah,
anywhere else they can be looking just to follow you in your journey and to be
sure,
blessed by your
sure.
authenticity.
LinkedIn, Instagram, you can email me. I'm not finished podcast at Gmail. Yeah, I'm always open to having a conversation and also like anyone who would be interested in sharing their story. So yeah,
Love it.
that's where you can
Awesome.
find me.
Well,
Yes.
thank you so much. This
Thank you.
truly
And
has
thank you
been
for what you're doing.
amazing.
You are phenomenal at interviewing and engaging people and showing interest and validating. And I've also been listening to you, and I think you have a real gift. So thanks for doing this and thanks for being you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. Until next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening to today's episode. It means a world to me that you're here to ride in the struggle bus with me and that you're willing to consider different perspectives, tools, and techniques that just might provide a little bit of relief and get you one step closer to the abundance that is available and waiting for us all. I hope you take a moment to grant yourself some grace where you've been denying it, some love where you didn't realize maybe it was right in front of you, and some faith where you thought all was lost. If this episode had an impact on you, would you please share a comment with a review? I'd love to hear what landed for you, and it helps us get the word out to our fellow struggle bus riders. So please review what was impactful for you. Just know these episodes are a pure labor of love in a space where I'm growing alongside you. I'm evolving every day, and I look forward to all the ways and the things and the perspectives and opinions and choices that will change over the course of time in my own life, day to day. Until next time, just know that you are loved, You are divinely cared for. And in the struggle, the journey of this life really is beautiful. I'm glad that we're in it together. Cheers.